Hello and welcome back to our werewolf game. So we're playing chapter 4. Lost in woods. Not in the woods, that's just lost in woods. So we are breed Homet, auspice unknown, rank cub, tribe unknown. We have a new journal entry. Let me just check that. I think we can take a look at that. I mean, we haven't really looked at our stuff here. It's actually quite nice that we can see who is who. So if you want to, you can stop the video quickly to take a look at it. I don't want to read through it all now, just interested generally what the journal means. It's a bit weird to navigate here because I have to press the button to go up and down the whole time. Yeah, Garu, a human ancestry, also a human form of the Garu. Okay. So, the heart of the forest. Because we have low rage. The morning smelled of safety, fur, earth, and the forest. I opened my eyes and saw other people cuddling up to me, their muscles resting on their paws as they slept. Gentle snoring filled the warm space under the low-hanging branches of an old spruce tree. Well, I will go outside. Stepping over the sleeping forms, I made my way outside. Alone. Hiding in the tall grass, I sniffed around. The sky was bright and the forest around me was dark and full of interesting smells. High in the trees, birds yelled about status, sex, and violence. Do I feel like in danger here? I'm waking up with some strangers. Let's try to get a little bit more rage here, I suppose. I was in danger. The thought was abrupt and unwanted, but like a siren, something had happened last night. I pressed myself flat on the ground and pricked my ears. They wouldn't find me unprepared. A creature stirring in the bushes nearby, a tall, dark silhouette, a stranger, familiar smell. Well, I will be ready to fight. We showed that we have it in us. I tensed up and watched the human as they looked around. Maya, there you are, they said when they noticed me. It was time to get out of there. I spasmed. Seems like that's a form. So I have on the top, I see my lupus form. So I'm not familiar so much with the werewolf mythology, but they have different forms. So there's multiple intermediary stages between being a full werewolf and a human. So I spasmed. Let me see what that does. So now I'm a Homet. So now I'm a human. Suddenly a feeling like cramp or spasm surged through me and everything changed. I was Homet, the human form. My body started resetting itself to the familiar shape and it hurt. Bones broke and fused again. Muscles and sinews moved under my skin. I cried and thrashed. Then, panting and sweaty, I was human again. I hit the ground with my bare ass. Colors exploded. The morning breeze suddenly became cold and I shivered. I looked up. Confused, I looked at the person approaching me. Good morning, girl. I have something for you. Lisa smiled and threw me a bundle of clothes. So she's Olga's girlfriend. We know that. Remember that they won't survive the change. I'll teach you the right to help with that, if you survive that long. I took the bundle. I suppose the right is some sort of power to not tear your clothes apart when you change. I snatched the bundle and started pulling the clothes on. Sturdy but comfortable boots, cargo pants, a green hoodie. They fit perfectly. I thought about the previous night, when I was raging through the forest, about how differently I experienced the world through the wolf senses, and about the discomfort and confusion of changing shape. So I was a werewolf. There was no denying it. I was no longer human. Well, I really want the full story. I suppose we found our destiny. I guess that is it. But I want the full story. Tell me everything, I demanded. It seems I've missed a lot about life. Don't worry, there are plenty of stories to tell. We just stood there for a moment in silence. I was wondering how one usually learned that they were a werewolf. Let's ask her about her story. I feel like that could be interesting to make a friend here. How did you become a werewolf? Asked Lisa. My grandpa saw that I had a soul of a wolf and started teaching me about the spirit world. She looked at me with her violet eyes. When the time was right, he guided me through the change. I wish my grandpa had done the same. I looked at Lisa and felt a sudden pang of jealousy. I wished my grandpa had been there for me, I growled. I guess he didn't care. Oh, he must have told you many things when you were a baby, and you remembered, Lisa said. How else would you know the high tongue? That was a good question, but how come nobody knew about werewolves? It doesn't make any sense, it suddenly struck me. How come nobody knows werewolves exists? We protect the veil, was the answer. It's easy to convince humans that supernatural doesn't exist. They already want to believe that, and the delirium helps. Delirium? You mean delirium as in the medical condition? I asked, remembering something that I'd read about acute confusional states. Well, you'd have to ask Pat for that, but the gist of it is that humans are incapable of remembering that they saw a Krynos, she laughed. They panic, turn away, and instantly forget every time. So Krynos, I guess that's one of the forms, I'm not sure 100%. Then I realized something important. The wolves had awoken. At some point, the rest of the party had awoken and joined us. The clearing was full of wolves. Fuck. Lost in the woods. Fight or flight. When wolves were closing in on me, I knew my next decision would have serious consequences. So denial and escape, or acceptance and cooperation. I feel like we really wanted to have this, like a proper family to find our people, so I don't really know why we want to escape. So for me it's about acceptance and cooperation, for sure, I would say. Hiding the bodies. The headless body was heavy, they said. As my first kill, it was my burden. It was my duty to take it to the burrows. Whew. Well, I think it was heavy in more ways than one. Guilt was eating at me, and I guess it was obvious. This is the nature of things. We are Garou, and we kill, Lisa whispered in my ear. Denying it is denying yourself. She and Daniel accompanied me, carrying the severed head in a bag. The others stayed behind, covering the tracks. Oh boy. I wish... What happened to Anya? I don't actually recall. I hope that she is fine and not... Let's see. I had to tell them it wasn't my kill. Did I not kill him? I don't remember. I will focus on the walk. I think it doesn't really matter. I didn't want to talk, or to think, for that matter. Not about the person I was carrying, or rather trying to carry. It was just a thing. I needed to transport it from point A to point B. That was it. So we'll keep dragging it. I kept dragging the body, getting more tired and more sweaty with every step. Well, I think we want to try to tap into our wolf power, so I changed. So we can... So these are the intermediary form. Okay, Krynos is the biggest form, I suppose. So we can change from Homid to Glabro, a little bit taller, a little bit more. Krynos, like an intermediary wolf human, and then we have kind of the normal wolf and then some sort of powerful wolf, I suppose. I suppose Glabro should be the most appropriate one, just to be a little bit more powerful, maybe. I was Glabro, the near-human form. The pain was stronger than I ever imagined. I felt my muscles spasm as they rearranged themselves. My jaw cracked, my mouth filled with blood. I clenched my fists and claws drove into my palms. I screamed. Then I rose, panting and sweaty. I was more than human. I was Glabro. Wolfish, strong, scary. It hurt. The change hurt more than I expected. The world shifted. Not much, but enough. I felt my teeth get sharper and muscles stronger. I picked up the body. It was a lot lighter. We went on. At some point I realized we weren't alone. There were two shapes in the bushes on either side of the road. Animals, one big and grey, the other small, nimble and white. Ah, my companion smiled. I see you've noticed our patrons. Let's say I remember them. The winter weasel and the morning wolf. Okay. Yeah, we know each other, I said, remembering my dream. We sort of met the other night. The two animals stopped in front of me in the middle of the path. We came here to teach the cub, said the wolf. She smelled of ash and tears. Was I hallucinating? I couldn't believe what I saw. It made no sense. I felt as if my brain was short-circuiting, trying to interpret signals not meant for human senses. Was it really a weasel? When I turned my eyes away from the weasel, it flickered, as if it was just a projection on a broken screen. One moment an animal, a moment later just an idea. When it talked, the air smelled of electric discharge, and I felt like the words displayed directly in my mind. They wouldn't leave me alone. But hallucinations or not, they just wouldn't leave me alone. The weasel circled me, and before I knew it, I could feel small claws on my legs, then on my back, and then on my arm. It smelled of musk and electricity, and then it bit my ear. Are they trying to just agitate me as a test, or should I become more angry? Let's try to shake it off. Get off me, I yelled, trying to knock the weasel off my arm. Oh, a feisty one, I like it. Its electronic voice echoed in my head. Enough, the wolf growled. Or at least that was my brain deciding to hear, what my brain decided to hear. I felt the weasel draw its breath. In the beginning there was Gaia, also known as the Mother Earth, and she gave birth to a mighty breed of warriors, the weasel began. It sounded electronical, like a teenager reading a Wikipedia page over a voice chat. They were called Garou, that's werewolves in Werewolfish, and their sole purpose was to protect Gaia. They failed, wailed the wolf. Well, the wolf seems a bit more the straight to the facts one. But I do like the details that the weasel is giving, so I look for him. Why did they fail? I looked to the weasel for advice. When time began, Gaia released 3 primal forces upon the earth. The Weaver, the Wild, and the Worm. The weasel continued. The Wild was the untamed force of life and creation. The cold, ruthless Weaver gave structure to the world, and the Worm destroyed what needed to be destroyed, creating balance. So which ones are we? The untamed force of life, I suppose. So we're probably the wild. Were we creatures of the wild? So were werewolves creatures of the wild, I asked. An untamed force of life? They were Gaia's children, the wolf snarled, born to hurt and contain humans. So what went wrong? I can see that something went wrong, I smiled wearily. The weaver grew too ambitious and trapped the worm within its lifeless web, the weasel answered. Confined and denied, the worm went slowly insane, the wolf wailed. Now Gaia is dying, choked by the weaver and eaten alive by the worm, wailed the wolf. The wild is not the one you should fight, she snarled. You were born to protect it. Then it turned and led the way. It took us to the barrows. The barrows looked just as I remembered them, but somehow calmer, warm and welcoming. Lisa kneeled near one of the mounds, put her hand on it and whispered a few words. I thought the ground slowly opened like a mouth in the earth. I sighed. Let's do this. We put the body in the hole. We took the severed head and the body. I'd wrapped up in the sheets and put them in the hole. It closed slowly, and I could swear I heard the trees nearby sigh in anticipation. The wolf howled, and I could feel the hair on my hands raise. Welcome to your new life, the talking white weasel grinned. We have something else to show you. Well, I have many questions. I had so many questions, and finally, I dared to ask them. So Daniel, let me just go ahead on that one for a second. Who's the Daniel again? Daniel, local tourist guide. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I think definitely Lisa is the one that we would turn to a lot more. The Olga's girlfriend. Yeah, so let's turn to Lisa. I turned to Lisa and realized that she'd been watching me. If you want to ask me something, just ask. How did you come to Poland? So, how did you get here? I asked. Well, my grandfather was from the old tribe, from up north. Proper north. Siberian. Her voice was trembling. But we are spread around the world now because the old Siberia is gone, melted, rotting. But I came here in search of a better life. Through the forests, illegal. I still wait for my papers to be sorted. She wasn't exactly hiding. Aren't you afraid they'll catch you? You're not... I searched for words. You're not exactly hiding, I said finally. Nah, Lisa shrugged. You know, I do things here and there. Help with the tourists, help with the forest. And my moonshine is the best in this province. Besides, I made a pact with the spirits. They watch over me. Distract people when they get too nosy. Enough talking, the white weasel grinned. We have much to do. So, we ran. So we're in the Puszcza. You're a cub, so you have a special privilege, said the weasel. Puszcza will grant you a vision. You must see to understand, said the wolf. Think carefully before you choose what to see. Crazy. So, learning about my family, obviously that was our main ambition. Learning about the presence, the forest, that's our current ambition. We saw how much we are affected by this, and we definitely, know this. The future, of course, holds also obviously a lot of interest. But I feel like just for this character here, the way she's been coming here, like to know her past is really something that she would want to know about, and I think that would be the foundation for understanding herself and also where she will go. So I think we're going to go with the past here in this case. The tangled paths. It was hard to find the burrows, although I knew where they were, and we just were there, by the way, but okay. When I looked behind me, the path had disappeared. I felt the Puszcza playing with me, twisted path, blocking my way with bushes and dead trees, and then suddenly opening a new path that was straight and full of sunshine. Oh. I pushed on. Determined, I pushed on. Since the change, I had become acutely aware of how my body worked, and I remembered what humans were good at: running. Stubborn, relentless, long-distance running. Not as fast as deer, not as nimble as a wolf, but steady and without rest. So I ran. Then I was there. The burrows. I climbed the nearest hill. When I was at the top, I stumbled on something, a shape in the grass, a skull watching me from its bleached eye sockets. I touched it. There is a swirl. It starts deep within me and then it expands. Everything is in motion and there is no center anymore. Suppose I see a village. There is a village in the forest and there is a howl of a wolf. People stop and look around frightened. The howl is like a keen. The houses are mere huts. There is almost nothing that protects the people from the forest. Their clothes are rags, their feet are bare, their hair and long beards are unkempt. They are wolf cubs. Then there's blood. Then the howling begins, the mournful, blood-curled keen of a mother who has lost her children. Watch, whispered the voice in my head. Watch and remember. But I want to act. But I cannot just stand by and watch. I want to act. I howl a song about the cubs, their hopes, and their senseless death. The forest listens to me. The forest wakes up, erupts with rage, and powerful furred bodies surge through the trees towards the village. The humans try to escape. They scream and beg for mercy. They try to protect themselves with fire. I take the fire from their hands. The Garou rise up, their talons red with blood, their eyes glazed with fury, and the fire is yanked from the hands of the villagers. I burn their houses. The houses start to burn. I make the wolf mother happy. The keening turns into a howl of joy. I am the Garou. The Garou have my eyes, my face. They are my family. I am the blood of their blood. And I do it again. Then it happens again. The humans return. They rebuild the village. This time, stronger and better protected. The keening begins once more. Then we, the Garou, come down on them like wolves on the fold. And again. New village, new fires, more blood. And again. Again and again. Seasons change, centuries pass. The keening continues. Villages in the forest burn until one day there's only one Garou left in the family, and he slays his own kindred in the fit of his first rage. I know him. He's young, but I recognize someone in him. An old man I know. He used to tell me stories about the forest before my mother took me away. I can't move. I stay there and I watch, but I can't move. My throat burns, my stomach is in knots. I want to scream, but I have no mouth. I feel the fire, I smell the blood. I smell ash and tears. I see the large ash-grey wolf looking straight at me. Her eyes are golden. She weeps. It is your destiny, she says to me. It is your duty. It is you. Come with me, child. Be my fangs and claws. There is no one else to be my cub. Come to me, child. I will nurse you and I will lick your wounds. We will kill together. We will feast and we will be merry. The forest will grow. I looked at her. And perhaps for the first time I saw her for who she was. Her pelt marred with fire, her eyes were smoky embers. Ash was falling off her heaving flanks. She looked odd, old, ancient, seething with anger. She was Kazan's mother. Mourning her stolen cubs, howling in the woods, waiting for a response that never came. But she was more than that. She was also the Pushcha. She was also the spirit of the forest, the Pushcha herself, wounded, hurt, violated, and mourning all her children that humans had killed. At least that was what I thought when I looked at her. The wolf mother looked back at me, and something in her eyes made me realize that she was sending me the prophetic dreams revealing my destiny. Join me, she pleaded. Only you can understand me, only you. I suppose this is what we want, so I went to her. and she accepted me. And I accepted myself. My family was serving the Wolf Mother. I finally understood who I was. Darkness fell again, and a bloody tide was loosened up the world. Darkness. One of us. A lone wolf howl pierced the silence like a single ray of moonlight. In the darkness. Then there was another one, and then another, and then another. A choir of voices, triumphant and joyful. I opened my eyes. I was in a clearing. Around me there were wolves. Huge, monstrous wolves, howling at the moon. I joined them. Instinctively I changed to join the choir. I was Hispo, the monstrous wolf form. The pain was overwhelming. My spine cracked and twisted. My knees and ankles broke, and I fell to the ground. My jaw shattered and rearranged itself. My whole skin was on fire, ripping and sprouting fur. I howled in agony. When I rose, panting and spitting blood, I was Hispo, with strong paws, mighty jaws, and a mane of fur. More than a wolf, scary and monstrous. My voice was unsteady at first, but soon I found my own note, a unique addition to the chorus. Well, hello there, Olga smiled at me, and welcome to the Sept. I will just listen. I realized my survival depended on learning very quickly, so I just nodded and listened. We live in packs, Olga explained, and when packs unite to fight a common enemy, they form a sept. So there were 2 packs there. I realized that there must be at least 2 packs here. So I think Lisa is the one we're most sympathetic with, so I will look at her. A huge, white Siberian wolf stood up. It was Lisa, human-shaped again. Her clothes rumpled. Olga and Daniel joined her, seconds later. We are the pack of the mourning wolf mother, said Olga. They smelled of ash and tears, and for a moment I saw the wolf spirit among them. I looked at Cornell's friends. A very young and black wolf changed into Pat, and Kim, her moments later. We are all that's left of the winter weasel pack, said Kim. A white shadow settled on Pat's shoulder. I smelled musk and electricity. We are all Gaia's warriors, said Olga. In that we have no choice, but we can choose friends who will stand by our side. What are we fighting for? I asked. We fight to save our Mother Earth, Daniel wailed. She's sick, dying. And we are the last beacon of hope against the darkness and corruption that is the worm, Kim said. The last word reeked of decay and burning oil. I had so many questions. I have so many questions. I shook my head. Was every sept that diverse? You are from all over Europe, I noticed. Is this like a standard for sept? I looked at Olga. I didn't even know if that was a stupid question or a smart one. I looked at Olga. Normally, the tribes keep to themselves, Olga grimaced. But we are in a desperate situation and had to form rather unorthodox alliances. There are at least a dozen tribes, Daniel interrupted. And I hope, Maya, that you will choose yours wisely. What about the moon? Why didn't I hear the moon whispering to me? I asked. Luna gave us rage. That is why she's important, Olga said. That is why you'll never be able to touch silver again. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to question it apparently. I'm just going to go with it. How did the spirits work? What about the spirits? I asked. How does that work? The world casts a shadow and we call it the Umbra, said Lisa. And in the shadows, every living creature, every emotion and idea, every important object exists as a spirit. That's all you need to know at the moment. Okay. I guess I'm not going to question that. Did I have to join the pack? Do I have to choose a pack? I asked, just to make sure. No, Garou can survive on their own, Lisa stressed. Among humans, I'm an outcast, an immigrant, a lesbian, a heathen. The pack accepts me the way I am. I summed it up. So, if I got all right, I've been conscripted into an ancient war against the worm, I said slowly, trying to put all it together. And the moon gave me rage as a weapon, but I must avoid silver. I took a breath. And there's a whole secret world of spirits, I continued. And I have to join a pack and choose a tribe. Exactly, Lisa nodded. And as for the tribe, there's only one person who can mentor you now that Cornell's dead. Olga is from the Black Furries, an ancient tribe of women warriors. Strong, safe Gaia. Fuck patriarchy vibes. That sounds good, yeah. I would love to know about my family tribe, though. What about my family's tribe? The Shadow of Fenris. Hey, what about my family's tribe, I asked. Lisa winced. Daniel sighed. Olga shook her head. Okay, definitely I did the wrong move. What's the matter? I asked again. Your ancestors were the Get of Fenris, and no one here wants to have anything to do with that tribe. Kim bared their fangs. They stand against everything we believe in. Were they really that bad? They surely aren't that bad, I asked. Are they? Gets of Fenris are the most radical Garou supremacists that ever managed the face of Earth, Kim scoffed. Like legit fascist werewolves. Some of them literally worked for Hitler. Well, I had to know the right to know my legacy. Thank you for telling me, I said. I had the right to learn about where I come from. For a moment, we were all silent. I need to know more about the tribes. I want to learn more about the tribes and find an option that would really resonate with who I was. Yeah, I think really like Lisa is the one that we're most looking towards. I asked Lisa about her tribe, and she inherited her Cyberrak legacy from her Buryat grandfather. She said I didn't know the proper legend, custom, and culture to join. Was Cyberrak a Russian word? So I asked, not sure how to approach the topic. Cyberrak, I mean, you're from Siberia, I hesitated. Lisa smirked. But the tribe name reminds me of something. Yes, Sibirak, she pronounced it differently. So it sounded like a Polish word. I must have heard it before. I'm sure that I heard it before, I said, in a different context. In Russian it means someone from Siberia, but in Polish it has its own very specific meaning, Lisa explained. It's a word for political prisoners exiled to Siberia, and there were tens of thousands of them. Well, that's what meaning do you prefer? With what meaning do you identify yourself with, like the Polish or the Russian? I asked. Lisa smiled. My tribe's name describes both of my legacies. My granny was a political exile and my grandpa was a Siberian indigenous. I use it because it speaks the truth. I asked her about the wolf mother. What about the mourning wolf mother? I asked. She's mighty and powerful. There was a tone of deep respect on Lisa's voice. Who was she? Tell me more, I asked. She is old, very old. We don't know when she first appeared here. I think she is the avatar of the forest. But what did she want? But what does the wolf mother want from us? I asked. I keep asking myself the same question. Lisa halted, looking for words. She knows how to find her way to people's heads. Lisa looked at me for a moment, deciding what to say next. I respect her, but I think she gets into Olga's head too much. Olga lets her in, and the wolf pushes, and I don't know. Maybe it's the right way to do things now. I knew that. She's been talking to me a lot, I admitted, and I agreed to help her. That was all I wanted from her. Thanks, that was all I wanted to know at the moment. To be honest, I think that's all I wanted, but I didn't want to talk to anyone. But I was too exhausted to bug them with personal questions. There were a lot of werewolves there. One thing is bugging me, I said. Why are there so many of you here? Suddenly everyone in Białowieża is a werewolf or what? You know nothing, Cub, Olga laughed bitterly. A mere century ago, there were dozens of pack in the forest. But none of the old guard survived the 90s. Lisa shook her head. We had to start from scratch. Not counting you, there are only 5 of us. And only 3 local, Pat pointed out. Barely enough for 1 pack. Anyway, before you admitted to a tribe, you need to prove yourself. What now? Prove myself? I was shocked. Hadn't I proven myself enough already? The rite of passage. You went through your first change, Pat said. She was leaning on a tree nearby. And you know everything you need to know for the moment. But you have to go through the rite of passage. Daniel rubbed against my flank, excited. A vision quest, Kim winked at me. And since we don't have time for tests, we need you to solve a real problem. Olga stepped in. Namely, we want you to find a way of ending this logging problem. Lisa wrapped it up. So, how would you like to do it? They looked at me in anticipation. I took my time. Enjoying the moment. My body was buzzing with energy, ready to shift change on the slightest sign of danger. My mind was clear. I knew what to do. I knew exactly what I wanted to do. We had to destroy the logger's image. We need to destroy the logger's image, I decided, to paint them as bad people. Olga had another idea. I still think we should just burn those fuckers to the ground, grumbled Olga. Well, that's actually also my idea, but that option wasn't given. Pat sighed. I know what Cornell would say, Pat sighed, that we should find and neutralize local forces behind the logging. I continued with my plan. We can do a live stream from here, a documentary, show people why the forest is so precious, show them what's happening here, I continued. I know how to make a thing go viral. When we are finished, the loggers will be the vilest of the vile in the public's opinion. Daniel beamed. Spoken like a true Galliard. You were born under the gibbous moon, weren't you, Maya? It's my auspice, too. How did he know? I looked at him surprised. How did he know? Mama always told me that when she gave birth to me, the gibbous moon was shining through the window, giving her comfort. I nodded. Okay. Why is stuff crossed out? Okay. We became Gilead, a storyteller. Alright. Garou born under the gibbous moon are storytellers and lore keepers, said Kim. Just like you and Daniel and me. It's a path of glory and wisdom, added Lisa. Okay. Your place in the werewolf society will be determined by your renown. You can earn glory through defeating mighty enemies and succeeding at dangerous quests. You can earn honor by following your moral imperative and upholding the laws of the Garou, and you can earn wisdom by acting efficiently and thinking well before you act. Your renown will change as you play, contributing to Maya's legend among the Garou. Okay. Fair enough. Galliard, okay. So renown, glory, honor, wisdom. So my other things went out of the window, I guess. Okay. Can I continue here? Yeah. No pressure at all. I felt overwhelmed. Olga must have sensed my confusion. Come on, we have a lot to discuss. She patted my shoulder. And we have to find your phone and wallet. So I followed her. I nodded and followed her. I had to tie up loose ends in my old life. Back to the beginning. I'm sitting on a bus. The sun, streaming through the windows, is making it hard to see. The narrow road cuts through a dense old forest. My mind wanders. I remember doing something important, walking among the trees, looking for something, losing something I loved, gaining something unwanted, but then I'm fully awake and the memories scatter away. We're almost there, said Anya. I did some searching. She looked at me from over her phone, and this place is amazing. It's the last primordial forest in Europe. Okay. Interesting. How did that happen? Like, how were we back at the beginning? She's such a dork. I laugh. Anya, you're such an adorable dork. I'm not able to finish. I start to cough. I spit blood. My throat is sore, my lungs hurt. Oh my god. Anya, I need help. Anya, I turn to her. She looks at me worried. You should drink something here. She puts a bottle from the backpack and gives it to me. I take a sip and feel something dry and acrid in my mouth, and then it starts to move. Spiders. I spit it out and see thousands of small spiders leaving my mouth, thread of silk covering me, the seat, and everything around it. I try to get out. I trash at the window, but a few seconds later, I'm bound in a cobweb cocoon. There's a hiss. Oh my god. It's like a fever dream here. Then slowly, a long, dark, bloody shape comes out of Anya's eye socket, pushing the eye out. A black snake that reeks of rotten meat, acid, and oil. Don't fight, Maya. You're already mine, it says, just like your grandpa. And then it kisses me. Oh my god. Well, that is something. And that will also be all for today. And we'll continue here with chapter 5 the next time. See you then, and take care. Bye bye.